So the West Indies squad for the T20 World Cup 2022 is now known. So the big question that I am going to ask my viewers and subscribers is, where do we go from here? How do we put together this puzzle to make sure that we give a good account of ourselves? I know that quite a few fans are not in agreement with some of the players that were selected. And on the flip side, quite a few fans are also not in agreement with some of the players that were left home. So, having said that, I am thinking that we are still going to support the team. Right? We say that we are patriotic West Indies supporters. So, even though some of the players that we would have wanted to get in did not get in the team, my feeling is that we are going to support the team. I personally have players that I thought should have gotten in, and I also have players in the team that I think should not have gotten in. Right? But that was all based on my opinion, having watched the players leading up to the World Cup. Now that the squad is selected, I have no other choice as a fan but to support the team. So how do we go forward? How do we piece this puzzle together to make sure that we give a good account of ourselves? In this video, I am aiming to run through the squad again for you guys and to talk a little bit about how we need to move strategically to make sure that we don't embarrass ourselves. Remember, we are going to have to try and qualify to get out from the first round to get into the second round, right? So we're going to talk about all of that. But as per usual, I'm going to ask you, my peeps, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel. I'm not too sure what you are waiting on, you know. All the good news you're getting right here. All the breaking news, all the updates, straightforward commentary without emotions attached. Facts, all of that. You get it right here, so. Alright? So, we're going to talk about that, my peeps. But just hit that subscribe button if you have not yet subscribed. And make sure that you leave a like on the video. So, going into this World Cup, my viewers and subscribers, West Indies, we would have established ourselves as a T20 team, right? Over the last 10 to 12 years or somewhere thereabout. We would have established ourselves as that type of team. But these days it seems as if we are now moving towards becoming a test team, because the test team is the only one that is only team that is really doing well. But on the front burner right now is the ICC T20 World Cup to be held next month in Australia. And as I would have indicated earlier, this squad was named. And the things that I am going to be talking about in this video, these are things that we have been hammering home in regular tournaments, because it's basic cricket. Basic cricket doesn't change. The fundamentals of the game doesn't change. And you're going into a T20 tournament, so you want to make sure that you are sharp, not only technically but mentally, right? So that's the first thing that we want to make sure that the players are mentally solid and mentally prepared to take on the work. We don't want people going to the World Cup and losing game and talking about it's a young team and all them sort of foolishness. We want people to be mature enough to go out there and to take on the job. And if things don't work out, they stick up their hand and say, yes, we did not do well in this game at all, and we need to step up. We don't want to hear the foolishness about people being young. So that is the first thing that I am thinking about. We need to put aside the foolishness about, I mean, it's a young team, yes, but how long are we going to use that excuse for? So we need to make sure that we are mentally prepared before we go into anything else. Mentally prepared before we go out there. Confidence, right? The great man, who was it? Said that without confidence, you are twice defeated in the race of life. You have to make sure that you are confident going out there, right? So that is one of the things that we are talking about. Being strategic with the batting lineup. Being strategic, playing normal, sensible cricket. Right? We don't want to see a number 8 and number 9 opening the batting, expecting to fight conditions that a specialist batsman you think a specialist batsman cannot manage. So if the specialist batsman cannot fight the condition, how are you going to put the number 9, 10 in there? We don't want the foolishness this time around. Right? So we don't want Jason Hole and Alzari Joseph opening the innings. So that lead me to the first you can say bullet point that I want to focus on. The batting lineup. We have to make sure that the batting lineup is spot on. Right? Not saying that you can't be flexible. You have to be able to be flexible based on how the game is going on. But you should be able to establish a core, right? And say, these are the 5 guys. This is the order that we expect to bat in. If there's any drastic issue that we think we need to tweak it a little bit, then we do that. Right? So the batting lineup, we want to make sure that that is in order. Right? The bowlers, we want to make sure that the balance of the team is good. The balance. So the batting lineup is important, but the balance of the team is good. We want to make sure that we are able to hold players accountable. We don't want it to be a case after a game. We can look and say, boy, this man, we should be able to point and say, well, you are in the team to do this and you did not do it. That is one of the issues. We don't want it to say, well, this man and this man was sharing this and they didn't pull it off. We want to be able to hold each individual accountable. That is how the cricket is. You know, sometimes we beat around the bush and we don't want to hear the player from our country get criticized, but we have to cut out the foolishness, right? We need to hold the players accountable, so we want to make sure that the team is the team is balanced, right? Where batting, bowling is concerned. Make sure that the final 11 that goes out there is well set. So that is another thing that we definitely need to work on. The captain going to be under a lot of pressure, right? Not a lot of World Cup experience. Johnson Charles, Jason Holder, and Sheldon Cottrell, and I think I'm missing one more person, would have had good World Cup experience, right? I mean, Pooran and Hitmai and those guys were at the last World Cup. But prior to that World Cup, we have a couple of guys with experience, right? So we are expecting that the captain will lean on these guys to help him, right? Lean on these guys to help come up with tactics. We don't want any silliness on the field. We don't want people going out there and behaving like they don't have any sense. This is World Cup we're talking about. You understand? So that is another thing that we definitely need to make sure that we are sorted out. The captaincy, that is sorted out. The captaincy, making sure that we are rotating the bowlers, making sure that we are reading the conditions and all of that. There are so many things that we need to get right, my viewers and subscribers, for things to really work, right? The way in which we bat, the batting style. Are we going with the same idea of being the powerful team that is going to hit 6 and 4s and nothing else? Those big grounds in Australia might have a surprise for us, so we got to be careful where that is concerned. So the first, let me go back through the squad real quick. So we have Nicholas Pooran and Ravman Powell. We have Yannick Correa, Johnson Charles, Sheldon Cottrell, Shemran Hetmyer, Jason Holder, Akil Hussain, Alzari Joseph, Brandon King, Evan Lewis, Kyle Mayers, Obed McCoy, Raymond Reefer, and Odin Smith. So those are the guys that are there as of now. Anything can happen leading up to the World Cup. We don't know. Right? As I would have indicated, and I think I did the live the last time, and I was saying the first thing that we will need to tackle is that first game on the 17th of October, where we will go up against Scotland. And quite a few of these teams, we don't want to take them lightly. The Scotland, the Zimbabwe, and the Ireland. These teams have at least 3-4 players that are playing quality cricket, high-class cricket around the world in T20 leagues. So if these guys have a good day, we could be in for a surprise. So we need to be clinical. Just as how we had that series, Pooran's first series as white ball captain against Netherlands, and one could say that we were clinical, That's how we want to go in there and be clinical, get out of this first round and get our World Cup up and running and on the way. Right? So the first The first step will be to try and get over Scotland on the 17th. Then the 19th we will have Zimbabwe. And the 21 we will have Ireland. Very, very strong team there. Ireland, that is. You understand? So I'm just here thinking, my peeps. I'm brainstorming, just freestyling, not even really reading any jotted points. Just looking at a few things that we definitely need to get right if we are going to give a good account of ourselves, my peeps. As I said, some persons are still griping when it comes on to the World Cup squad. Some persons might not want to watch the World Cup because players that they thought would have been selected, didn't get a chance in. We have people like Russell, Allen, Narayan, Moti. Those are three of the big names. Russell, Narayan, Moti, Allen, that's four, and probably Fletcher. Those are five of the names that are circulating heavily on social media that quite a few persons believe should be in the squad. And, I don't know, some persons apparently will not be supporting the team because one or two of the players that they were looking forward to were not in there, were not listed. So that is the question, my peeps. Where do we go from here as it relates to making sure that this squad stays together, making sure that there's good vibes in the camp, and we are able to go and give an account of ourselves? This is just a couple of questions that I'm asking, and I am just putting it out there for you guys to answer. As per usual, the comment section is open. And having heard the squad again, if I think you want to give your plain 11 out of that squad, you can go ahead and give me a plain 11. And I'll be in the comment section taking a look. Might not get a chance to reply to all, but definitely will be in the comment section taking a look at the comments. Alright, my viewers and subscribers. So answer that question for me, guys. It was just a reasoning and finishing up with a question. Where do we go from here as it relates to the West Indies? The West Indies World Cup team. Where do we go? How do we move forward to make sure that we give a good account of ourselves? These are some questions that I know that my very intellectual viewers can answer. So go ahead and answer for me, my peeps. Big up on yourself.